Welcome to the jungle. You're going to learn how I rate off-meta jungle picks. So every champion can lane to some extent, but not every champion can jungle effectively, so my channel is here to rate who can and can't perform. My ratings will be on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being the Yuumi tier and 10 being Mantheon, Chad himself. These ratings are only for off-meta junglers, so for example, if Hecarim were to be put on the list as of patch 10.20 at least, he would be like a 14. Lol. But anyways, all of these ratings will of course have my personal opinion weighed a lot, given I'm the one playing, but to give some idea of my thought process, I've made like 3 major criteria I'm going to be using when I rate the off-meta junglers. So number 1 is going to be clear speed. The clear speed is a jungler's ability to clear jungle camps at a fast and healthy rate, especially in the early game, because that's when it's going to matter the most, so you don't get invaded and you're like on the verge of death, like at Gromp and stuff like that. Number 2 is going to be the ability to gank. So think of the jungler having CC or mobility in their kit. The less of that they have, the harder it's going to be for them to actually perform the gank. Of course, you know, if you have setup in lanes, it can be a lot easier, but generally you want to have a consistent ability to gank regardless of what lane it is. Number 3 is going to be early skirmish power. So, especially if you're playing off-meta picks, people are probably going to try and abuse you if they know what they're doing. So being able to 1v1 people early on in the game effectively is a really big part of jungling, because you need to be able to contest those scuttles and you need to be able to fight off invades when it happens. So that's going to be a really key part of the whole process as well. Now, the last part I want to mention is going to be examples. So I'm going to give you examples of meta junglers that we're going to be looking at. And for the first one, I'm going to use my favorite character right now. That's Graves. Graves is a really good example of a character who can use all 3 of these abilities to his maximum. So Graves has good clear speed, good ability to gank, and good skirmishing. So, you know, one of the fastest, healthiest clears. His smoke screen makes like the gank so easy for him, and his damage also makes it so he can effectively skirmish well, especially with this passive giving him all that bonus armor. Now, another example of somebody who doesn't have all 3 but is good enough at one of those key traits to be meta is Karthus. So, you know, Karthus, his clear is amazing. It's probably one of the best in the game, except for maybe Lilia. She's kind of up there too. But his ganks and his skirmishing are not at the best until he has a few items, especially the runic echoes. But he makes up for it because he scales so hard, and then also he just clears so fast, it just synergizes so well. So he's really good as well just because of that. But you get the idea. Basically, having one of those 3 traits be the best in the game makes you meta, and also having all 3 also makes you meta. When we're looking at off-meta junglers, we want to see if they have good clear speed, if they have a good ability to gank, or if they have good early skirmishing power. The more of those they have, the better, and the higher they'll probably place on the list as well. You guys should keep an eye out for videos that I'm going to post where I use the methods to rate these off-meta picks, as well as going through the playstyles and the runes and the builds and whatever. But in the meantime, while you wait for that, I do want to say that I ain't so you don't have to. So stay safe out there. Bye.